how to fix the slumping Dodgers offense. We're also looking at 5 outfielders the Dodgers could trade for at the trade deadline. It's Trade Talk Thursday. Also, Shohei Ohtani buys a new mansion in LA. We're looking at the pitching side, what they've been doing from the roster standpoint. And we got an interview. Dino Ebel, the Dodgers third base coach, he joins the show. All that more on a jam-packed episode of Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
Dodgers win!
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball.
Grand slam! It's a double for Freddie. Mookie Magic!
They're going to make big signings. They're going to make impact trades. This is the most anticipated season in Dodgers history.
Dodgers have won it all in 2020.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
What is up, Dodgers Nation? And welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain, credentialed member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on the X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. Now, if you haven't yet, do us a huge favor and subscribe to the #1 Dodgers YouTube channel, the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, and most importantly, comment GOAT Ohtani down below, because when you do that and you're subscribed to the channel, you have a chance to win a brand new Ohtani gray road Dodgers jersey. We're giving away once we hit 95,000. We're climbing up there. We're going to do some giveaways before then. We're talking about that, so be on the lookout for that. But if you want to be eligible for all of our giveaways, subscribe to the channel. If you really want to help the channel, like it, comment down below. Always reading your comments, guys, so definitely be sure to join the #1 Dodgers YouTube channel. This show is brought to you by Bet Online, your #1 source for the NBA and NHL playoffs this season. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on the games. Blackjack, poker, you can unwind with over 150 slot games. Then head to the website today to get in on the action. Don't forget to use code BLEAV, BLEAV for your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, the game starts here. And every episode of Dodgers Dugout Live starts with our poll question of the show. And I asked you guys over on the X, which currently slumping Dodgers hitter are you most concerned about? And right now, 31% of you say Freddie Freeman, 9% of you say Teoscar Hernandez, 16% of you say Andy Pages, and 44% of you say Chris Taylor. Because this offense, they've been struggling, and that is the leadoff today. The leadoff today is this Dodgers offense. They've disappeared. If you've seen the Dodgers offense, please return them to 1000 Vin Scully Avenue before they make their way to the Queen City in Cincinnati. They start a road trip where they play the Reds, they play the New York Mets, but the offense, they've been nowhere to be found. I mean, they've been inconsistent. You haven't gotten those big innings. You've had some players that have been fixtures in this offense, not just this year, but in years past, that are having a down stretch. I do think that playing 13 games in a row is a reason for that, and guys look tired. But what are your thoughts on this Dodgers offense? How concerned are you? Drop your takes down below. Victor Baño says, Andy Pages, I am worried. Yeah, we're going to talk about Pages because he's definitely started to go through it. And the Mookie shortstop experiment. Don't put Lux on a silver spoon. That's from AA25007. By the way, super producer to my left, Mr. Antonio. Tony Taters is looking for all your comments. He's going to feature them on the screen. Any super chats get featured on the screen. Anytime we see a comment of the show, you're going to see one of these.
You win. Perfect.
Anytime you get a fire take, a hot take, you're going to see one of these. Any roast, any burn, you can see one of these. A little finish him action. Anything a little sus, you're going to see one of these.
Bruh.
Anything a little sus, you are going to see a bruh. So definitely drop all your comments down below and all your thoughts on your Los Angeles Dodgers here on Dodgers Dugout Live. Everything you need to know about your boys in blue in less than an hour. But you look at this offense. They struggled again last night. Weren't able to come through despite having numerous opportunities with runners in scoring position. They go 0 for 8. And it was really emblematic of how this team has been playing of late. You look at this Dodgers offense for the entire season, they're right towards the top. 5 runs per game, 5.04 runs per game to be exact. But in their last 13, they're averaging 3.69 runs per game. They're slashing 213, 281, 357. And this stretch of 13 games, here's a number you need to know. We're playing the numbers game today. Some Dodgers numbers you need to know is they scored 3 runs or less 7 times in this 13-game stretch. If you look at the Dodgers offense before this 13-game stretch, in 39 games, they had done that just in 8 of those 39 games. So typically you could count on this offense to go give you 3, 4, 5, 6 runs per game, give run support to Tyler Glasnow, who he was right towards the top and get run support. Last couple, he hasn't gotten that same advantage. And I think it's starting to take its toll, even though the starting pitching, we're going to get to that, and the relievers, they've been really fantastic and they've held their own. They've given the Dodgers a chance to win. And there's a reason why they're 7-6. I mean, despite all of this, despite how bad the offense has performed, the Dodgers in this 13-game stretch, they're 7-6, still above 500, and you're still comfortable in your division. They're 33-19, a 7-game lead over the San Diego Padres in the National League West. If you look at what we're really focused on, and that is the best record in baseball, they're now 4 games back of the Philadelphia Phillies. So it's still so early. And you're looking at a Dodgers team that, for the most part, was the best team in baseball when it came to overall run differential. Well, there's teams that have passed the Dodgers lately. The Phillies, the Yankees, the teams that they could be seeing in the postseason, they're on top of the Dodgers. Phillies have a plus 90 run differential. The Yankees a plus 84 run differential. Dodgers, because of this stretch where the offense has performed poorly, they're at plus 77. And a lot of it has to do with just top of the order, not continuing to rake, and they're too reliant on the MV3. And Freddie Freeman continues to really not look like Freddie Freeman of late. And you just compare this offense for the last 13 games to the 39 games before that stretch, the drop-off is so precipitous. I bring my facts to the fight. You look at the Dodgers offense last 13 games. They're hitting 213. That's 26 in Major League Baseball. Before that, they were hitting 271. That was first. Their on-base percentage has dropped from 354, which was tops in the sport, down to 281. Their slugging percentage was 454. That, of course, was number 1. That number's dropped to 357, which is 22nd. The strikeout rate has also spiked. During this stretch, they're striking out at a 24.7% clip. That's the 5th highest in Major League Baseball. Before that, they were around 11th at 20.8%. You look at weighted runs created plus in this stretch, they're at 83 and 83 weighted runs created plus. So they're 17% below league average collectively. Before that, they were at 132, 32% above league average as a group, and that led the sport. So this offense has gone from the best in Major League Baseball to one of the worst in Major League Baseball in this last 13 games. And you ask the question, why is this? Well, first and foremost, 7, 8, 9 hitters, they have not been able to complement the top of the order. Because as great as Mookie, Ohtani, and Freddie and Smith and these guys are, I think they're the best 1 through 6 in baseball. There's no doubt about it. But you put a lot of pressure on them to perform and produce day in and day out. You need a little more length, a little more production from the bottom of the order. And pretty much every single metric you look at for the 7, 8, 9 hitters, the Dodgers are towards the bottom. Batting average, weighted runs created plus, slugging percentage, on-base percentage, home runs. Lux has performed better, and he had another multi-hit game yesterday, the only Dodger to have 2 hits yesterday. But it's not to the point where those hits are turning into big innings and big runs. He had the big double in San Francisco that was big, but I think collectively you're just not seeing it. And I think it really starts, as far as I'm going to rank kind of the slumping Dodgers by the ones that are impacting the team the most. And you have to start with Freddie Freeman. And make no mistake about it, Freddie Freeman is one of the best hitters this game has ever seen. Freddie Freeman is a player that's an MVP winner, a perennial all-star, someone who's going to always vie for a batting champion. And you look at his overall career, 2,168 hits. He's the current hits leader in Major League Baseball through 15 years of his career. But right now, it just doesn't look like Freddie Freeman. During this stretch, Freddie's hitting 239 with a 107 weighted runs created plus, so 7% above league average, a 20.4 strikeout rate. And you saw yesterday, he had multiple opportunities to come through with runners in scoring position, really get that big hit that the Dodgers needed. But unfortunately, he was missing pitches that we've seen him drive. He was missing pitches that we've seen him hit in the gap. And unfortunately, he just looks a little behind the heater right now. I mean, lots of swing and miss in the zone, and that's when you start to get a little concerned because, yes, the way pitchers are attacking you is always going to be a factor, and the way that analytics have advanced, there's always going to be a lot of game planning, especially for your best hitters. But yesterday, for example, Freddie Freeman, he had opportunities with runners in scoring position, and he goes 0 for 2 in those situations. And you look at some of these at-bats, and they weren't of the quality that we saw from Freddie Freeman last year or even parts through this season. And you saw right there, just missing in the zone on the outer half, missing down, middle. I mean, that's just miss. I mean, look at this. I mean, he is behind. Fouls one off, and he hits one that goes for a foul ball, and then he just misses another one. I mean, he is behind that heater in that situation. Great job with that clip right there, Mr. Tonio. And that is something that you need to focus on because the bat speed analytics came out, the metrics came out, and he was in the 24th percentile in bat speed. So, look, it's Freddie Freeman. I mean, could I be a -10, a -50 as far as my concern level? Maybe. But, look, Father Time is undefeated. Your bat speed is going to slope a little bit, but I don't think that he's on the decline. I think that he's in a state of transitioning to a little bit of a reinvention as far as tinkering with some new mechanics, tinkering with things that are going to allow him to be successful. He did an interview with AM 570's David Vassay, and he told David Vassay that he's working in the training room and he's changing his routine a little bit that gives him an opportunity to sustain his greatness. Because make no mistake about it, last season, you saw peak Freddie Freeman. The reason why this Dodgers team overachieved last year was mainly because of two guys, Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, who put up MVP level seasons. I still think Mookie should have won MVP over Acuna Jr. because he finished with more WAR. But Freddie, 59 doubles, set a new Dodgers franchise record, 29 home runs. So you saw the slug with Freddie Freeman last season. This year, you're not seeing that same level of slug. Right now, Freddie Freeman, he's got 5 home runs on the season, 5 bombs for Fredericks of Hollywood. And that's nowhere near the pace that he was at last season. Right now, he's on pace for around 15 home runs after hitting 29 bombs last year. He's on pace for around 40 doubles, where he hit 59 doubles last season. You look at that isolated power, it's down from 235 to 159. ISO power is a great way to measure power, slugging percentage minus batting average, and you're seeing the power numbers go down. The good thing, though, is Freddie's standard is so high that we're talking about a player as if he's really declined, that he's washed or he's fallen off, when the truth is his numbers as a whole, he has a 142 weighted runs created plus. So imagine talking about a player that is perceived by many to be slumping, but he's still, when it comes to his overall offensive production, has a 142 weighted runs created plus, and that's currently 19th in Major League Baseball. So even the struggling version of Freddie Freeman as a whole for his season is a top 19 hitter overall offensively. So he's going to be fine. He's going to get right. It's just a matter of, I think, a little bit of an adjustment. Like I said, he's missing some fastballs in the zone, but it's not just Freddie Freeman. Will Smith during this stretch hitting 205 with a 99 weighted runs created plus. So he's 1% below league average. Teoscar Hernandez is 9 for 48, hitting 188 with a 63 weighted runs created plus and a 28.8 strikeout rate. You look at his production, he's fallen off a little bit. And yes, I know, look, I get it. I see the comments here. People freaking a little bit about Freddie Freeman. I see Long Live Freddie. I see Ramblin' Rom send Freddie down so he can work it out. That's not how that works. You can't send someone like Freddie Freeman down. Freddie needs to relax and have more fun. I think anytime a player of Freddie's caliber his batting average drops to 286 and it's below 300, people start to freak out. But then you realize there's kind of more to it. And like I said, is he having a down year by his standards? Objectively, yes, there's no doubt about that. But I think for Freddie, it's a matter of just continuing to adjust. And that's why I said in the offseason, the time is now. Parades over prospects, right? You got to take advantage of what's left of Freddie's prime and Mookie's prime. We're in the first chapter of the Ohtani era. And then you look at Andy Pages. Pages is another concern. During this stretch, Andy Pages is hitting 128 with his going 6 for 47, a 14 weighted runs created plus, and a 36% strikeout rate. Andy Pages is really all of a sudden, after that hot start, really going through it. And you know what I said? I said that anytime a player comes up and he's in stage 1 of my 5 stages of a big leaguer, and he's in the dream isn't realized, and then you evolve to stage 2, prove you belong. A part of proving you belong is going through that first big slump and coming out of it, making those adjustments and starting to produce like you were before. But look at last night. One of the big at-bats in the game was Andy Pages. He's at the plate with an opportunity to get the Dodgers back in this one, and he finds himself at the plate with a situation where you got runners on second and third after a Teoscar Hernandez walk and a Gavin Lux double. You had runners on second and third with 1 out, and look at this at bat from Andy Pages. I mean, first pitch, strike, down and in. He takes it. Second one. I mean, you're seeing these strikes that are one. Look, that's middle, and he's just missing a heater. Middle, and he's missing a heater. And that's definitely a concern because at that point, it's not how you pitch it. It's, hey, I gave my best fastball. It was down the middle and you could not hit it. So he's someone that you want to see improve and find a way to just get some more walks, get some more base hits, and try to eliminate some of that swing and miss. Even Max Muncy, before he was injured in 6 games during the stretch, was hitting 45 with a 38.5% strikeout rate and a negative weighted runs created plus of 43. So really, I think the big takeaway in all of this is we know this lineup is going to start scoring runs. It's tough to play 13 straight games. They're going to start producing once again. But what I have my eyes on is the power outage from Mookie and Freddie Freeman. The power is just not the same this year as it was last year. And even with the addition of Shohei Ohtani, if you're going to get this version of Mookie and Freddie for the entire season, they're not putting up MVP numbers. Even Mookie during this stretch, a 144 weighted runs created plus, those are all-star elite-ish numbers, but they're not MVP numbers like he was putting up early on in the season. If you look at Mookie Betts, he's on pace for 25 home runs after hitting a career high 39 last year. He's on pace for 38 doubles compared to 40. So that's okay. You'll live with that. But you definitely want to see more slug from Mookie and more slug from Freddie Freeman because that's what makes them the MV3 in this lineup. But let me know down below in the comment section on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your concern level? Mr./X October all over again. Yeah, they do realize it's May, right? I mean, someone messed with their phones and say October and their calendars. I have no idea, but it's only May, okay? This is the time where you're stacking dubs, you're getting wins, and I'm not overly concerned. All these guys have shown in the past that they've made out of slumps. We got 7 to 8 from Jason Diamond. Andy Pontes says 13. That is your, did I say that wrong? 13. Ramblin' Ron says 9. Dodgers equals choke. Oh, come on now. I'm giving that bruh. Giving that a bruh. We got Bilal. Look at what and who Shohei Ohtani is, but Freeman shouldn't have to carry his coattail. Ohtani should bat after him to make up for these issues. 199 super chat from Dodger Blue 82. D-Mac, do we need a better hitting coach? I think that one thing I'll say about that is these guys give them all the information. They have the iPads, and you look at the approach, I think during some of these at-bats, look, sometimes early in at-bats and early in games, you want to be able to put the ball in play. You want to be able to advance the runner, move the runner over to second, try to way to maximize some runs, especially when the slug isn't there, and then the slug will come around. It's like Little League coaches will tell you, right? It's like high school coaches will tell you, guys that want to go up there and give you their 3 big daddy hacks like Donio, right? He doesn't understand situational. Hey, just swing for the fences. Sometimes it's one swing for you, two swings for me, right? That's kind of the mentality you would like to see a little more because, look, in October, you're going to be facing better pitching. You're going to be facing elite relievers, and you can't hit home runs off of everyone. You want to have that ability. And you guys know I always say if you want the W, you've got to slug. But I think you also want a dynamic offense as well. Hayden Magnum, Freddie hasn't been clutch. He could be leading the league in RBIs with the amount of time Mookie and Shohei have been in scoring position. All right, Hayden, let's bring your facts to the fight. Let's see what Freddie Freeman is hitting with runners in scoring position this season. And yeah, I think down the line, this team hasn't been as great when it comes to clutch hitting. Last year, 41% of their runs came with 2 outs, which is just an absurd mark. And this year, Freddie Freeman, not terrible. I mean, he's hitting 279 with runners in scoring position. He's hitting 255 with runners on, a 759 OPS with runners in scoring position. So not awful, but still, you compare that to last season when really Freddie Freeman was absolutely incredible and was putting up MVP numbers. Last year, Freddie hit 370 with an OPS of 1,030 with RISP. So he was definitely coming through more last year in those same situations. So you're not wrong on that standpoint. D-Max, #1 fan. I feel like they don't read the room at times. Instead of swinging for the fences, just try and get the bat on the ball and drive guys in. Yeah, I mean, look, we just talked about the Andy Pages at bat. I mean, you see right here, I mean, he takes the strike, and I think for him, he's a little in between because, I mean, that's a huge, big swing right there. I mean, with that situation, you just want to put the ball in play. Like Jerry Harrison Jr. says, contact is king sometimes, and I think that this team loses sight of that at times. Now, is that because of the hitting coaches? I think these guys all have their routines, especially the established players. But if this team doesn't hit in the postseason, I mean, heads are going to roll, right? If we see a performance like this in the postseason, I think this would be the year that maybe you would have to consider some options. We got people are overreacting. We can't win every game. Dizzle, exactly. I mean, you can't win every game. You're going to go through slumps. You have the ebbs and flows. I'm not overreacting on this one. Just kind of just pointing out that when we have a big enough sample size to know that Mookie and Freddie, their slug isn't where it was. But, by the way, I mean, the favorite child, of course, is Shohei Ohtani. So Shohei Ohtani is still raking through this stretch. So no worries for him. Shohei Ohtani in this 13-game stretch is still continuing to produce, and he leads Major League Baseball with a 202 weighted runs created plus. And by the way, just switching gears a little bit, Shohei Ohtani purchased a new house, and it's closer to Dodger Stadium. We're going to talk about that next here on Dodgers Dugout Live. What up, Dodgers Nation? D-Mag here. I'm here to remind you that if you have not yet, be sure to subscribe to the #1 Dodgers YouTube channel for all latest Dodgers news, rumors, hype videos, interviews, breakdowns, live streams, and more all year long. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you really want to help the channel out, smash that like button. Also, you will not be eligible for any of our giveaways unless you are subscribed to the channel. So all you need to do to be eligible for all of our giveaways is just make sure that you are subscribed. We just gave away a brand new authentic Mookie Betts jersey valued at over $350, and we got tons of giveaways coming this offseason. So be sure to be subscribed so you are eligible to win. And as always, think blue, bleed blue, and please subscribe. And welcome back to Dodgers Dugout Live. By the way, if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can win a Shohei Ohtani Road Gray jersey. We got Who Are You Trying to Trade? That's from Steve Herndon over on Facebook. Yeah, a little later we'll talk about some options because right now it does feel like with Andy Pages trending in this direction, Jason Hayward, still early for him. Is he still going to be that guy? And he's still someone who plays a very specific role where he's in there against right-handed pitching. You got Chris Taylor, his year, the way it's gotten off to such a slow start. Gavin Lux is starting to trend in the right direction, but I don't think there's anyone down there that you can say, okay, it's October. I can guarantee this guy is going to step up and give you some consistency. So we'll talk about some outfield trade options in just a second, but switching little gears here, Shohei Ohtani. Check out this mansion that Shohei Ohtani purchased in La Cañada, California. $7.85 million was previously owned by comedian Adam Carolla. $7.85 million for Shohei Ohtani. So $7.85 million, a mansion in La Cañada. It's close to Dodger Stadium, previously owned by Adam Carolla. I think for me, first thing that stands out is, how does a guy that makes $2 million a year afford a mansion that's $7.85 million? Now, of course, I'm only kidding with the deferred money, but I think, look, this is great. It further establishes his roots in Los Angeles. There was a lot of talk about him being in Newport and how long he's going to live in his mansion in Newport Beach and commute to Dodger Stadium. So look at how much has changed for Shohei Ohtani. He's gotten married. Ippei's gone. He's driving himself to the stadium for the first time in his career, and then he buys a house in La Cañada for $7.85 million. It's a really cool In-N-Out burger that's close to there, right off the 2. Fun fact about me, my first home run for South Pasadena JV was against La Cañada. I left the yard against La Cañada, and I just think it's great. It's cool to see Shohei Ohtani further establish himself in Los Angeles, and I think, too, La Cañada, the fact he moved to La Cañada, it shows how much of a nice guy he is. I mean, with all the drama about Toronto and becoming a Blue Jay and going to Canada, he's living in LA and Canada for La Cañada. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I'll give myself a bro for that one. But 50-year, a deferred, that's from Hexagon in Asia, with a basketball court for his wife. That's from Metabolic. We got V-Track. Is it May? They started choking practice early. Come on now. Don't he make like 20 million? He makes like 70 million when you look at the endorsements. D-Mac flexing his home run. Alex Renteria. It was actually my only home run that season, but I did win the most improved player for JV South Pasadena baseball. And I think that award is kind of painful. I remember my speech. I was like, guys, I get it. This is the you sucked at the beginning of the season award, and you kind of got better. So here you go. So Ohtani likes the Hollywood lifestyles from Justin Lamas. It's a fire take right there. We need the bottom of the order to hit and put the ball in play. Come on, D-Mac, Chico. Exactly. That's what you want. Get on base. Put the ball in play. You don't have an all-star team 1 through 9. It's unrealistic, but you have guys that can play roles. Situational hitting, getting the ball to the right side to advance the runners, getting a sac fly to right center, getting on base, laying down occasional bunts. I mean, absolutely. We got Jason Diamond, D-Mac. He lives 2 houses down from me. That's pretty cool. 2 houses. You can go trick-or-treating, and you got Shohei Ohtani. I love that. LA Bro, why bring back Hayward and Vargas? Hey, Vargas had a double the other day, and it remains to be seen if he can take advantage of this opportunity. Matt Digby says, does Carolla's house come stocked with conspiracy theories? That's a funny take. I mean, there you go. Finish him right there. Dodgers need to manufacture runs. If you get a double with no outs, you need to score him even without a hit since you can. I mean, BC, absolutely. And that's what we talked about. I mean, too many big swings in those situations. And you got to give credit to the pitching. The pitching has been outstanding. We're going to focus on that on tomorrow's show. But coming up next, I met up with Dino Ebel tomorrow, the Dodgers third base coach. We talked before the Dodgers game yesterday. We talked about Mookie playing shortstop and everything that's changed with him and his routine. We talked about Shohei Ohtani's base running, where he's on pace for 41 steals. That would be a new career high. Does he have the green light to go whenever he wants? And if Chris Taylor is going to make his way out of this slump and how much confidence he has in CT3. Here, check out my interview with Dodgers third base coach, the great Dino Ebel. What's going on? Doug McKain here with the great Dino Ebel, the Dodgers third base coach. Dino, thanks for the time, man. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me. Love talking ball.
And Dino, first thing we got to get into, saw you working with Mookie Betts. Just before we get into just the progress that he's made, just talk about just how rare that is for a player like that, a superstar, first ballot Hall of Famer, to the age of 31, hasn't played in such a long time at that position. Just take on that challenge this season. Just how big of a deal is that?
It's huge because, like you said, I've been here a long time, in the game a long time. I've never seen an elite player do what he's doing. Right field, second base, right field, second, short, second, right field, now playing shortstop. So what he's doing, what he's going through, the process is unbelievable. He's obsessed. This guy, he wants to do it. He's learning every day. With Miggy Rojas beside him, giving him all the tips, and then me behind him monitoring, just little tips here and there, running through the ball, get your legs in, you've got enough arm. The progress that he's made from day one until today, it's unbelievable, and it's showing on the field.
And as far as work ethic goes, everyone knows how hard Mookie Betts works, but just what have you learned from him during this whole process?
just being obsessed and getting it right. I mean, this guy never late. He's out here every single day since day one, getting his work in, and just he wants to help the team win, and that's just it means so much to this organization, the players that see him doing this. This is what he's doing is incredible. Like you said earlier, that nobody would ever touch this. Nobody. And here's a guy, we talk all the time, the mental side of it, the physical side of it. He's taking his lumps in front of the big lights every night. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to make good plays. But what we're doing is turn a page, learn from it, and get better for the next play.
It just feels like he's the ultimate team player, doing whatever it takes to help this team win games. But we know he played some last year at the big league level, was back in short. Now it's in a full-time role. You're seeing more there. What's the biggest change you've seen so far this season from early on spring training when he took over at short till now?
Well, last year it was more, like you said, playing second, a game here and there at short, but now it's a routine. It's his job. So now he's learning the day-to-day grind. He's, as we're getting live fungos, we're getting off the coach fungos, turning double plays. So I think the biggest adjustment that he's making, instead of twice a week here and there, and then he's back on the right field, now he knows he's concentrating every single day at one position, turning double plays, making a routine play. And I really believe this live fungo every day off the bat is really just game reps and preparing him for the game tonight.
And as far as the pregame routine, how much more time do you think he's spending now as far as when he was in the outfield or even at second base?
Well, in the outfield, he took his fly balls, ground balls through the bases almost every day too. And then before he went to the outfield, he would always do ground balls to keep his hands and feet moving on the infield. So this routine that he has, he's been doing it for years, but now the outfield is out of play, and now it's all concentrating on the infield.
And as far as the progression goes, is there anything that's more of a point of focus now as far as getting into it?
I think it's just reps. I think more and more reps that he sees in the game. Speed of the runner, speed of the ball, situation of the game, scoreboard dictates when you got to get rid of it quicker, when you have time, shuffle, throw the ball across the diamond. But I just think the reps is so important for him, and that's why every day the grind is getting him off live fungo.
And it's such a demanding position. What do you think is the most challenging part for Mookie in taking over this role?
Well, I think, we were worried about the physical side of it. The grind that he does every single day, is it going to affect him in the batter's box?
It clearly has not.
And it hasn't. So this guy is prepared for this role. This guy, he's in phenomenal shape. I mean, great athlete, and now he's being challenged, and that's what I like about Mookie. He's being challenged, and now he's trying to rise to the top.
Yeah, it's such an incredible storyline. Most years, an MVP transition to shortstop, still putting up MVP numbers. Like you said, the offense had to slip it all. That would be the top storyline. But for this team, of course, it's Shohei Ohtani, a player that you're very familiar with. One thing I want to ask you is, what do you think is the biggest change as far as his base running from when he was at Anaheim? Because you were with him when he was at Anaheim. We see he's on pace for 41 stolen bases. His previous career high was 26. What kind of evolution have you seen from him as a base runner?
Yeah, he's improved tremendously. And I think this year, we all know he's not going to pitch. So he's really doing a good job of just concentrating in batter's box, doing a base running. And that's the difference I see when he came into us with the Angels, pitcher/hitter, and he had a routine that we were all getting accustomed to. And now, 6 years down the road, he's performing here at the highest level, got up to the greatest start in his career. And I think now he's starting to throw. He's going to start getting back into the pitching routine later on during the season. But I think now he's just concentrating on two things: barrel the ball and be a good base runner and steal bases.
And was that a concerted effort as far as during spring training, knowing he wasn't going to pitch, to say, let's be a little more aggressive and eager on the base paths?
I don't think so. I think he just came in, open-minded that, one, he's going to learn what we do here, and he loves what we're doing. And two, he just wants to be the best player when he steps on the field. So if he can help a team in the batter's box, if he can help a team scoring a run, like yesterday, stole the base, they threw the ball away, he scores a run. That's what Shohei Ohtani's about, and that's where he wants to improve every day as a base runner.
And have you seen those instincts improve? He was already a great player, but have those instincts improved? And does he always kind of have the green light to go, even with Freddie Freeman there batting behind him?
Absolutely. This guy's he's well prepared. He watched a ton of video. He knows the pitchers. He knows the catchers. The situation of the game. Very, very smart player. And when he takes off, there's a purpose, and he's trying to help the team score a run. So, yes, he does this. What he's doing is for a purpose.
And you, Dino, as one of the best third base coaches in the game, mean, you have to love this because not just Shohei, Mookie's on pace for 29 stolen bases. You're seeing the Dodgers 11th in the league in stolen bases. How much higher do you think that takes this team as far as their ceiling on offense?
Yeah, I think Dave's, it comes from Dave. Dave turns him loose. And for me as a base coach at third base, it's great because we're aggressive. We're going first to third. Anytime we can put pressure on the defense, that's what the Dodgers are about. There's times where, you don't want to run. You let the big boys swing the bat. But if the other team knows that, hey, this guy's got a chance to steal a bag, it just puts everybody on their toes. And now it's starting to pay off with Mookie. And, don't forget about Freddie, too. He might see.
Team leader last year, right? 23.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So, and Chris Taylor, he's got off to a slow start, but if he gets it going, and we got guys who can steal a base when we need to, and that's what puts pressure on the other team.
Yeah, and last question, you mentioned Chris Taylor. Of course, you said get off to a slow start. We know the kind of player he is, right? Yes. We know that inside this is someone that's helped this organization. We saw what he did in the postseason, how great he's been. How much you just kind of look at the back of the baseball card and the track record and just know he's going to make it out of this and he's going to be just fine?
I think he's going to be good because he comes out here, he does the grind every day. He hasn't changed his routine. It's just one of those things that he's in. He's mentally tough. He's just going to have to catch a break here and there, and what he does, he comes out and works. So we need Chris. He's a big moment player. He can step in the box, change a game, and I know that the Chris Taylor that we have here, I think the fans know it. He'll rise to the occasion when the lights come on.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it. And so fun to watch you go out there do your thing, Mr. Dino Ebel.
Yeah,
thanks, man. Appreciate it.
So I like this comment from Mario. Dino Ebel, see no evil. That is the great Dino Ebel. This guy's a baseball junkie, and he's around this team 24/7, working with them before the game, during the game, after the game. And I think it's important to talk to guys like that because then you turn down the freak out meter. I think everyone had their freak out meter up close to a 6, 7, 8, some people for a 10. Me, my freak out meter for this offense is low because the talent is there. The track record is there. The production has been there. Look, this is a team that needed a day off. This is a team that needs Max Muncy back. This is a team that, yes, you do want to upgrade this lineup towards the bottom. I do think that. But at the same token, you still need to use this time of the year to evaluate guys like Gavin Lux, guys like Andy Pages, guys like Miguel Vargas, guys like James Outman, who they already have options. So they've already proven to us with their actions that they are going to go through the process and they're not going to shy away from making bold moves. Sending a guy that was third in the Rookie of the Year voting last year in James Outman, who had 23 home runs, down to the minor league level. And Gavin Lux, say what you want, he has started to trend in the right direction. You're seeing multi-hit games. You're seeing him swing the bat better, gain more confidence. The defense has been good all season long. But really stood out to me with Dino Ebel, what he was saying was just how obsessed Mookie Betts is with being a shortstop, how obsessed he is in the work he is putting in. And we know with Mookie, it's never going to be a lack of effort. It's never going to be a lack of talent. I think it's a lack of experience and just how long it takes to be a shortstop at the big league level. You saw yesterday, Mookie had that errant throw. You could read his lips. He was saying, sorry, glass. He was saying, my bad. And look, he's going to have his occasional errors, but the good thing is it hasn't really been too much about the fielding. It's been more about the throwing. And I think when you look at his range as a whole, yeah, I don't think he's going to be someone that's going to cover a ton of ground as a shortstop, especially from the glove side. We've seen some balls kind of get in the outfield there. But I think for me, there is some frustration and kind of just a little bit of with Mookie Betts, almost the thought of, look, I mean, I know that if anyone can do it, it's me, but would he be happier at second base? Would he be happier playing the position that he really was going to play, but he stepped up in a big way to play that shortstop position? So we still have a couple months of evaluating left. We still have some time left before the trade deadline, but I guarantee you, if his numbers slide, they're going to do something, whether it's play Miguel Rojas at shortstop at that point more, whether it's move off of Gavin Lux at second base. But that's the trick in all this. It's not that complicated. If Mookie doesn't play shortstop, that means that either he's back in the outfield where he originally did not want to be. You want to eliminate the wear and tear, him running back and forth from the dugout to the outfield. But let's not forget, he's a 6-time Gold Glove Award winning outfielder. They need more outfield production this season. And 2, maybe Mookie says, hey, maybe the outfield isn't so bad. Maybe playing this position where I have that experience at this level, I've already proven myself to be elite at that position. maybe I kind of didn't know what I had until it was gone, right? I mean, maybe going back there is a little comforting for Mookie Betts after realizing just how difficult it is to play shortstop. Like I said, being elite shortstop is almost like being an elite quarterback in the NFL. There's 10 of these guys on the planet that can play the position defensively at an above average level and offensively at an above average level. And that to me is my big question is, does Mookie Betts want to go all in for an entire year? Because look, the good thing is the more experience he gets, the more comfortable he's going to get, the more confidence he's going to get, and presumably the better he is going to get. But still, even the better version of that, is it worth it to what it could possibly do to his offense? So far, the offense in the last couple weeks hasn't been as good as his hot start, but let's see. Does it ever start to bleed into it? And it just makes you wonder all that wear and tear. I think for Freddie Freeman, the same rules applies. I mean, you almost got to save these guys from themselves, because the reason why they're Hall of Famers is because of the confidence they have in themselves, just because their work ethic. But sometimes you have to go to these guys. And I think with Freddie Freeman and Mookie, it's like, hey, what's best for you? What's best for the team? It was best for the team for Mookie to slide into that role to start the season, but to finish the season with the options they have, not so sure long-term that's the play. And you guys know that I've been really planting my flag on that for this entire season, because I want Mookie to do what he does best. That's rake. That's be a leadoff hitter that can leave the yard. That's being a leadoff hitter that has over 50-plus leadoff home runs. And we know that when he scores, this team's chance of winning, they go through the roof. And I don't want anything to get in the way of that. Now, some more comments. Mookie is at best a below-average shortstop, Team Ruiz. And I think when people say that, people say, oh, you're doubting Mookie Betts. No, it's not you're doubting Mookie Betts. It's he's playing a position that typically look, the reads have to be so quick. You have to have elite reads off the bat to get to those spots. And it takes time to develop those instincts. Mookie looks miserable at short. That's from Adam 818. Mookie at right field. Mookie at second is better. And that's the thing too, because if you move Mookie off shortstop, you have to move Mookie. You have to move Gavin Lux off second, or do you move Jason Hayward out of the outfield, right? I mean, those are the options that you have, but I think a lot of it had to depend on, do they trust Miguel Rojas at shortstop not to get injured? Do they want to keep him as a depth piece? Can his bat stay where it's been, where it's above league average? Can he at least give you a respectable at bat? Because he doesn't give you that much speed like Gavin Lux gives you. And do you go out there and do you try to pursue a trade for a Willie Adames or a Bo Bichette if those two guys become available? Because I guarantee if those guys seriously become available, the Dodgers could absolutely get one of them. D-Mac, I'm 90% sure you was saying Mookie was going to be a Gold Glove shortstop. That's from Lee Sereno. Go back and watch the tape. I am literally the only person, I think, in Dodgers media that didn't like the idea of this originally. So that's just, first of all, I know too much about this stuff to think it would be a Gold Glove level shortstop. So just you look at the defensive metrics and you go deep into those numbers, that was never in the cards. I've always said that if you plays an average level shortstop, plays this level of offense, that he was going to win the MVP. And he was going to run away with the MVP because of the narrative. Not that he was going to win the Gold Glove. I never said that. I never would say that. Bilal K. Look, I know what and who Shohei Ohtani is, but Freeman shouldn't have to carry his coattail. That's not the case. No one's carrying anyone's coattail. Look, Freddie Freeman is still going to have himself a really, really good to elite season. But we got Team Ruiz, Miggy at short, Lux at second, and Keek at third. Iris K. Can we blame D-Mac for Pajes slumping? LOL. Look, that's a fire take from Iris K. And I stand by what I said. You need rookies to slump. It's unrealistic for Major League Baseball players to go wire to wire where they're hotter than the devil's armpit. That's not how this game works. And you don't know if a player is for real and if they belong until they go through that first slump. Willie Mays, he famously started his career on a really bad slump. He went on to be, in my opinion, the best player this game has ever seen as far as his whole entire career. So you're going to slump. It's how you get out of that slump. So I stand by what I said. If Pajes played the entire season where he was scorching hot only to falter in the postseason, that's not what we want, right? We want players that can prove that they can adjust, that their swing is big league proof, right? And it's slump proof. And that's how these guys go from prove you belong to all-stars to secure that bag to legacy stage. So yeah, absolutely. It's a necessary evil. Hey, D-Mac, is there something between Pages and Teoscar Hernandez? Juan, I didn't like that yesterday as far as Teoscar kind of making that catch. I think it's Teoscar has just better instincts at right than he does in left. And Pages as a center fielder, you want to see him be a little more assertive. And that's definitely something you lose going from Pages to James Outman that had proven himself to be a better center fielder and that he has that experience. But Pages is a streaky hitter from One-Eyed Dragon, that's for sure. Roy Estrada, D-Mac, believe you with Pages. I want to see him succeed, but man, he looks horrible lately. Patient meter on. That's from Roy Estrada. Everyone needs to chill. The boys are fine. It's baseball. Who knows? They may get swept this series in the future, but they're also going to win the division easy. That's from Shane Rochester. Yeah, the sky's not falling. Vargas needs a haircut. Okay, so the Dodgers, I do think, need to go out there and make some trades to totally push the chips all in on this season. You want to take advantage of Glassdown, Yamamoto, Mookie, and Freddie's prime. The first year of Shohei Ohtani where he's not pitching, take advantage of that offense. And I just think if you want to solidify the bottom of that lineup, you have to add another bat. So I got 5 outfield options. We're going to go through these really quick that the Dodgers could pursue. Right at the top of that list is Tyler O'Neill, the Boston Red Sox. Now, I spoke to, got a high five. There we go. There's the transition. Shout out to Donio for that fire transition right there. Now, when it comes to the outfielders, Tyler O'Neill is having himself an all-star level season. Only issue is, 1, he's happy in Boston. 2, the Red Sox, even though it's a very difficult division, they're in the mix for the wild card. The Red Sox, they're 26-24, a half game back of the AL wild card. So if they're continuing at that pace, he's not only going to stay in Boston, but I've talked to some people that cover the team, some Red Sox insider types. They told me that not only could he stay in Boston, he might even sign an extension with the Red Sox. So, look, you can't buy a house that's not for sale, right? You can't trade for a player that's not available, and Tyler O'Neill could be that guy. But if he did become available, that's a perfect fit for the Dodgers because he gives you some thump, he gives you some extra base hits. He has a 140 weighted runs created plus. He leads all left fielders with a 525 slug. He's hit 11 bombs. He's a free agent after this season, so you don't have to commit to him for longer than this year. The defense is slightly below league average, but based on what we've seen with Teoscar Hernandez and some of these guys, like the offense more than justifies a slightly below average defense by Tyler O'Neill. So that'd be right at the top. If he was available, and I don't like trading for guys during the season unless you love them that are under multiple years of team control. You like the rental types and you take advantage of them having a hot year. You take advantage of them, quite frankly, of being in a contract situation and wanting to get that back and wanting to get paid. So Tyler O'Neill, sign me up. Now, number 2, a little bit of a lesser known name, and that's Brian De La Cruz. Brian De La Cruz of the Miami Marlins, hitting 259, a 438 slug, a 113 weighted runs created plus, 9 home runs. He's a unrestricted free agent after this season. We saw what he did against the Dodgers in the Miami Marlins Dodgers series a couple weeks ago. He's another guy that you take advantage of the fact that the Marlins are a team that could be big sellers at the deadline. And just remember that name, Brian De La Cruz of the Miami Marlins. Not fantastic, not an elite hitter, but definitely an upgrade as a season from what Pages and Chris Taylor and some of the guys in the bottom of the lineup have provided. And then we mentioned this name a couple of weeks ago. And number 3, you got Jesse Winker. Now, I don't love Jesse Winker, but if you're trying to improve that position on the margins, he's someone that offensively has had himself a decent season. Jesse Winker is a player that you are familiar with because it's on the West Coast, right? He's a name that at least some people know. He's 30 years old. This year, he's hitting 226, but a 116 weighted runs created plus, does have 6 home runs. The StatCast numbers don't love Jesse Winker. He's around league average when it comes to expected batting average, expected slug, the bat speed that's in the 16th percentile. Doesn't chase, walks a good amount in the 85th percentile, but defensively, he's a -6 outs above average. But the pros for him is he is an above average hitter. He can get on base to a degree, and he's on an expiring contract as well. Don't love Jesse Winker, but he's a name that most likely he's going to be moved. And then the name that all you guys have always asked me about, and I like this is from who says this? Peter Pan Dammy says, "Oh, we out here scrap heaping now, huh?" You know what? Look, half of my meals are off dollar menus from fast food restaurants. I love the dollar menu, but I think some of these are a little better than that. But a lot of names you guys always throw out there. This is one that I know gets people excited, and that is Randy Arozarena. Randy Arozarena, he's got that additional intangible, that charisma, that je ne sais quoi that people love as far as someone who is a fan favorite. And you want someone that's got that dog in him.
Dodger dog of the game.
You want someone that got that dog in him. He's got the X-Dog that's off the charts. Unfortunately for Randy Arozarena, there's two things that I think are working against him as far as him being a viable trade target for the Dodgers. The one at the top is heading into the season, he was still under 3 more years of team control. Anytime you have multiple years of team control and you're dealing with the Tampa Bay Rays, they are going to ask for a lot of prospects in return. And yes, if it's the right player, that makes a lot of sense. But Randy Arozarena is having himself a down season. On the year, he's hitting 162. He has a 73 weighted runs created plus. He's just been struggling to be the guy that he was. And then you look at, okay, let's look under the hood a little more. Do the advanced stuff love him? Do the advanced numbers support him coming out of this funk? If you look at the expected batting average, and this is based on quality of contact, right? How hard does he hit the baseball on a given at bat? 5th percentile in expected batting average, 25th percentile in expected slug. Average exit velocity, 75th percentile. Bat speed, 67th percentile. The chase has been better, not chasing as much at this point of his career, but the strikeout rate is in the 12th percentile. The whiff rate is in the 4th percentile. So to trade for a player like that, unless you are getting him at a heavily discounted rate, it's a big gamble. It's an extremely big gamble. The defense is at -1 when it comes to outs above average. But let's look, maybe with the Dodgers in this situation, you say, you know what? The age, he's 29 years old. The talent's still there. We saw what he did in the World Baseball Classic. Is this someone that could come into this organization and get back to the player he was, because it's a better situation? You're playing in front of 50,000 strong at Dodger Stadium. You're not playing at the Trop where they struggle to put butts in the seats. They can't even sell out a postseason game. The fans come dressed as seats, right? You don't have to worry about that with the Dodgers. Of course, we saw, as Noah pointed out before the show, I mean, Instagram posting that picture with Shohei Ohtani, him wanting to link up and be a part of this current iteration of the Dodgers. I'm sure he would love it, but I just don't know if the Dodgers would want to trade for a player that's, one, having a down season, and two, is under team control for 3 years, which would require a lot in return as far as committing to that prospect capital that they would want to get a deal done. So let me know down below in the comment section, what are your thoughts on Randy Arozarena? Luis says Arozarena lives in the spotlight. The Dodgers spotlight is the spotlight. Said spotlight a lot there. I like it. Fire take. How about you, Tonio? Tony Taters, I know you're on board. You're all in. You'd probably pick him up at the airport and you guys would listen to Van Halen all the way to Dodger Stadium, right?
Oh, yeah, we'd have cowboy hats and everything. Yeah, I think it would be a great move for Randy. I know he's struggling. I think he's batting like 160-something right now. Obviously not good, but with no doubt in my mind, if he comes here to Los Angeles, the people would take him with open arms. Just the culture. Everybody knows the Mexican, Latino community here would freaking love that guy here. I know he would thrive. I know he'll probably hit like 5 home runs in a row, but it would be awesome. I'm all on board for Randy Arozarena por Los Angeles.
Fight Rackham. It's a fire take from my man Tony Taters over there. Tonio, I was bringing that. Look, here's the thing. He could be your classic change of scenery guy. He could be a guy that you throw into the spotlight. There's no player in Major League Baseball outside of a select few that would embrace it more than Randy Arozarena. And as Nando points out, get players who rake in the postseason. Now, there is this debate of, can you do this, right? Can you do this? I mean, Noah says bored in the show. That's kick him out, man. Get out of the room, man. Have him leave. Have Noah leave. Peace out. Hit the road, Jack. But like, yeah, if you're there's getting some fire take love down below there. YouTube, we got the Arozarena for Ohtani. Could be Guzman. That is a finish for you right there. But like I said, Thursdays are days where you can think out of the box. And if you really felt like he was going to be a guy that could be that guy, hey, you look at his postseason numbers. 5 years, 9 series, hit 336 with an 1104 OPS. So, look, I think guys can get hot, they get cold. You just have to really hit that peak at the right time. You never know, but he's certainly someone that can do just that. Randy is Cuban, not Mexican, but the Mexican community and everyone would be thrilled to have him. That's from Alex Renteria. LA, the only team that didn't allow the Okay, we need Zach Greinke back. D-Mac, would you kiss Ohtani for the Dodgers to win a chip? That's from A. Dizzle. That's definitely a bruh. Donald says he would. And the last guy is Connor Joe. Connor Joe, he's under team control until 2027. This season, he's hitting 268 with a 123 weighted runs created plus, 6 home runs, 10 doubles on the year. The team control would be a lot, but I don't think he's someone that you could really ask for a lot in return just because he doesn't have a track record like a Randy Arozarena. So he's someone that could be traded at the deadline. We got Steve Blevins. What up, Steven Blevins? Can we get a coach that can win in the playoffs? That's from Steven Chavez. Dave Xander says, Doug, D-Mac needs a bruh. Absolutely. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow me on X at DMAC_LA. Exactly. It is true.
I'm sorry to cut you off there, Doug. Yeah. We got a lovely super chat from Roy Estrada. Nice $20 one.
A 20 banger here. DMAC, is it time to go after Luzardo and Tanner Scott and one more bat? Go blue. First of all, it's a comedy show from our friend Roy Estrada over there. Look, I think both those guys are interesting. I think with Luzardo, lots of team control. You wonder about his injury history. I think there could be some red flags there. Tanner Scott is more of a option because he's on an expiring contract. Another bat, look, Jazz Chisholm, he's an above average bat in the outfield this season. I don't think the fit is there, but those are definitely names that you're going to hear emerge once you get close to the deadline. So I think for me, I've been on the Tanner Scott train for years now, so it just really depends on his availability and how quickly the Dodgers want to make a move, because the bullpen has been really good, the pitching has been really good, and they're still not at full strength. But that is going to do it for this episode. A couple walk-off shots right here. We got the most probable players off selling teams at positions open are Kyle Tucker, Isaac Paredes, Tyler O'Neill, Ryan McMahon. Yeah, McMahon's an interesting one too. I mean, Jeremy Pena, De La Cruz, I don't think that's definitely there. And CJ Abrams, I think some of those are ones that might be available. Some of those are ones I don't think that it would pick up a phone call on. Is Mike Trout available? Even if he was Elishiva Jones, the injury history is a little too severe unless they want to pay down most of that contract. But that's going to do it. Shane, A Dizzle, K-Dog. See you guys tomorrow. No game. Enjoy your off day. And remember, nothing brings together quite like Dodger baseball. Until next time, think blue, bleed blue.